Welcome to Hutchinson Economic Developments. My name is Miles Seppold. I'm the Economic Development Director for the city. This week we're going to update you on some of our projects going on around the community. And then in the second segment, we've got a special treat. We're going to have an interview with the new owner of the State Theater, Jason Wall. So stay tuned for that. So, by way of project updates, the biggest thing out there right now is the landing project. And this is a $20 million 81-unit apartment complex that's being built between Franklin and Glen Streets next to the Crow River. So this is on track to be completed in December of this year, so just 9 or 10 months from now. And I took some pictures of this here just a couple days ago. So here's a view of the building under construction. And this is from the view from Franklin. This is kind of looking northwest. So you can see that bottom row, that's the indoor parking. And they're starting to put the building wrap on there. And then there's 2 levels of apartments above that. And then there's another unit or another layer of apartments that are going on top of that yet. So this building is going up very rapidly. And the secret is that they're building a lot of it actually in the factory. They put together prefabricated wall sections in the factory, and then they deliver them to the job site on a semi, and then they put them up in place. So it goes very rapidly. Here's a picture from the northeast corner, and again, you can see the first level is parking, 2 levels of apartments. They've got trusses going up on the top there, and there'll be another level of apartments above that. So it's going to get taller. Here's the view just from the east end of the building, looking straight west. And then here's a view looking down Franklin, looking north on Franklin Street. The Crow River is behind the building, and you can see they're starting to put up the 4th floor in this picture in the upper right. And then here's another picture basically looking at it from Girl Scout Park. And then finally I went up the hill on Highway 15 and took a picture looking down the hill. And you can definitely notice this thing's taking shape. It's going to be noticeable. So coming along very rapidly. Pretty soon they'll be done with the framing, and then they'll get the entire building covered in the wrap and then start working on the exterior finishes. So it's going to move pretty quickly. I did just get some pictures that shows what the finished product is going to look like. So this is the landing from the southeast corner looking northwest. So Dairy Queen would be behind you as you're looking at this building from this perspective. The interesting thing here is that on the top corner there, that's the outdoor patio that people are going to be able to reserve and have their events at. So that's going to be an interesting feature. Here's a view of the building from the river looking straight south. And then here's a picture of the west side of the building looking east. So Franklin would be on the far side of this building, and you can see in the lower right hand corner there's the garage doors that are leading to the indoor parking. And then here's another view from the river just looking southeast. So Dairy Queen would be behind the building, and you're looking straight north. So the river is behind the building here. So that's where the landing is going, and that's moving on schedule, and it's going to be exciting to watch that take shape. The Hotel Jorgensen, that project is moving ahead. Right now they're in the process of removing hazardous materials from inside the building. There's a lot of asbestos that needs to get removed, and that's a big job. Lead paint, mercury, and so forth. So that's all in process now. That'll probably take several weeks. And I would say this is on schedule for demolition probably by the end of March. The wrecking ball is going to come down, and the Hotel Jorgensen will be in the history books. Other news items on Main Street, Dairy Queen is doing a renovation inside and outside. That's in process right now, so that'll be unfolding over the next several weeks. And then on the south end of town, this is directly across the street from Menards, there's a new Sherwin-Williams paint store that's being put up. So this will be opening sometime this summer. And then, as I've mentioned before, we have a new child care center. And really the big challenge right now is just finding kids to get enrolled. We've got 42 slots available. There's a lot of room yet for preschool and school-age kids, and so we're looking to get as many kids in there enrolled as we can. Phone number's at the bottom of the screen. So if you know of anyone that needs child care services, we do have that available. Another news item, this was just this past week. We had an open house over at the high school for Tiger Path. We started doing this a year ago, and every year going forward now we want to build on the open house, make it bigger and make it better. So this will be every February. We'll be doing it again next February, and we're hoping for bigger and better. But the one that we had last week was a success, so we're hoping to build on that. And then another project, and I'll be hopefully talking about this in the future, is expanding the Tiger Path program, which currently is at the high school, but now we want to expand it and bring a lot of those features to the middle school. So we have some meetings underway to do that. So we'll see where that goes. News item from the industrial park. One of our companies at the Hutchinson Enterprise Center is going to be graduating, and actually they've already largely moved out, but Laser Dynamics is graduating, and they've decided to move that company to Plymouth. We always try to keep them here in Hutchinson, and we made every effort to try and keep them, but really with this company, they had to be closer to their customers, basically because of what they do, which is laser engraving and laser marking and a lot of work with medical device companies. They felt like they had to be in the Twin Cities because a lot of their customers, they want to see the process, they want to see the facilities where their work is getting done, and it was just difficult to get them to come out to Hutchinson to look at it. And so the owners of the company, they thought, well, we need to get closer to our customers. So we understand that. It's not realistic that we're going to keep every company that we raise up in the Enterprise Center, and that's okay. We knew that going in. So yeah, they'll be moving to Plymouth, and we wish them well. And now we're looking to fill some square footage that we have available in the Enterprise Center. I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, certainly feel free to give me a call. There's my number on the screen. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. So in our next segment, we're going to be interviewing Jason Wall, the new owner of the Historic State Theater. So stay tuned for that. Welcome to Hutchinson Economic Developments. My name is Miles Seppold. I'm the Economic Development Director for the city. Today we have a special treat for you. We're going to do a little interview with Jason Wall, the new owner of the Historic State Theater here in Hutchinson. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Miles. Great to be here.
Let's start by getting a little information on your background. Where did you guys come from, and how did you land in Minnesota?
Yeah, well, my wife and I are both from California. We both grew up there. She's from the Bay Area. I'm from the Los Angeles area. And we spent collectively about 60 years in the entertainment industry. She is a television editor for scripted and non-scripted television and documentary. She's an award-winning documentary editor, as well as television trailers and TV spots and bonus features. My background is post-production. I spent 30 years with the studios working with a lot of great talent, a lot of great directors and writers in post-production, film restoration, film preservation, film restoration, screenings, operations, building groups. So I had about 30 years of that experience. And
okay. Yeah. What are some of the famous movies that you personally have worked on?
Well, some of the famous restorations would be Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca. We restored that. Mary Poppins, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, The Love Bug. There's a TV show right now, or a documentary that's on Disney Plus right now called Disneyland Handcrafted. And much of that footage is unseen footage from Disneyland. And a lot of that footage, all of that footage actually, and of course the opening day broadcast all came through my department and myself to oversee the restoration. And a lot of that footage was used, most of that footage was used for that program that's on Disney Plus right now.
Okay, so we can see your work on Disney Plus right now.
You can turn on Disney Plus and watch The Love Bug or 20,000 Leagues or Mary Poppins, and that's our work.
Okay, yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. So how did you land in Hutchinson, Minnesota?
Well, we were looking for a business. I retired early after 30 years of being in the entertainment industry, and you get to a point where both Jenna and I have talked about running a business and owning a business. We've been talking about this ever since we were in in the industry, way down as peons, starting our way up. And during COVID, it was kind of that game changer for us. We decided that let's set out and figure this out. Let's do this. So I decided to retire after 30 years, and I was at Apple, and it was time for me to go. It was really a great opportunity. But we started looking for businesses. We had a list of businesses that we would consider. Movie theaters were always on that list. But it was that fun thing. We always talked about having a job that, or a business that was a theater, going all the way back to our dating years. We thought about a drive-in, actually, originally. Anyway, so for about a year and a half, we looked at different businesses throughout the country. Movie theaters, either ice cream shops. We even looked at places in Hawaii, like a video, doing travel and wedding videos. We went from coast to coast. Then we really started focusing on movie theaters. There are a couple theaters we came close to purchasing. Then we came out here to Hutchinson. We saw the listing, came out here and visited Red and Linda, the original owners, and really enjoyed the community, talked with some of you, and it was that's how it all kind of happened. It happened in August of 24. That's how the progression started.
The building has been part of downtown Hutchinson for a long time. What do you want people to know about the history of the theater?
The theater is going to be celebrating its 90th anniversary next year. It was built in the summer of 1937, opened in December of 1937. And it's, as you say, it's a historic building here in Hutchinson. What we love about this and what we love to people to know is that the history that this building holds for generation after generation of Hutchinson residents and surrounding areas they would come here to see major motion pictures. This theater is truly a gem from an Art Deco perspective. The outside, the entrance, especially our big theater, which has the original murals on the side that were reconstructed and restored by the previous owner. And it's just a gem of a property. Ourselves, looking at how do we take the state further into its lifespan, into year 100, is that how do you update a historic theater without destroying the character? And those are conversations we have weekly with many people, looking at how to continue to protect the legacy that this theater is. It's a very important, and in the community, it's a very historically important building here. And as the stewards of this building, that's how we look at it. We look at it as a steward. This is a community asset, and we're just that a period in time. We do not want to destroy or hurt or harm this piece of historic property.
Yep.
And our thought is what we wrestle with is how to modernize it without destroying the charm and the history behind here.
It looks like you're really committed to preserving the historic nature of the building, but then at the same time bringing the movie-going experience to the very height of modern technology. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Looking at the technology, movie industry or exhibition technology has continued to change. Movie going, starting back in the 1930s, it was 35 millimeter nitrate film. In the 1950s, you went to safety film, you went to cinemascope, you went to stereophonic sound. In the 1970s, you had 3D in the 50s, and then it came back in the 80s, and things continued to change throughout the years. But today, we're in a digital world and digital technology, and right now, we have one of the state-of-the-art projectors in the world here at the state in our big theater in 4K, a wonderful, beautiful image on our 40-foot screen. Looking at the sound, we have 7.1 Dolby Digital, which is a really great immersive experience, and this just takes it to the next level. We're also looking at how to take it further. There's technology that continues to come down the line with HDR and Atmos and all of those new bells and whistles, if you will, that are coming down. And we're looking at that. How do we incorporate that new technology in a historic building?
Okay.
And we see that. And of course, the two other theaters, we're looking at the improvements there as well as we continue to move forward through the year.
Okay, very exciting. Now, I see that you guys play first-run movies, but then also a steady stream of classic movies. Why is it important that you bring both of those to the audience?
Well, I think it really gives a nice variety of your programming. I think first-run films are really the most important aspect of our theater. Our big blockbusters coming out of Hollywood, coming out of all of our major studios, that to me is really is a driving force for this. But classic films on the big screen captures a completely different audience, and it really highlights the great filmmaking prior. And it also is a great education tool for audiences. It's also a lot of fun to see your films from your childhood back on the big screen. We see it here. Parents bring their kids to see Back to the Future or Jaws or whatever we've played. It becomes its ritual to see it on the big screen. Maybe they've seen it many times on TV, but it's something completely different. And we really embrace that. We feel that's a great... it's really kind of a nice programming option to have.
And nice nostalgia.
Nice nostalgia, yes, sir.
Has anybody come up to you and talked about their reaction on seeing these classic films on the big screen?
We get a lot of reactions, always positive. It seems to be, anytime that we show classic films, and we do a lot now, it never fails. After the end of a show, someone says, "That was amazing. Thank you for bringing this back. It was great to experience this film. What are you doing next? What are you doing?" And we get requests. So it's become this growing passion for some of our audience members. And we see sometimes the same people come back over and over again on some films. And also we have guests that travel from New Ulm and St. Cloud and from the Metro out here to see certain films that we play on the big screen. And it's not one or two people. Sometimes it's like 30 or 40 people in the run of a film.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're becoming a destination for these in this area, which is great.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Now, coming from sunny, warm California to Minnesota, that's a big switch.
Big change.
What's been the biggest adjustment so far for you?
The weather. The weather has been the biggest adjustment for us, more for me than the kids and my wife, because I grew up in sunny Southern California. I grew up in the San Gabriel Valley, outside of Los Angeles, Pasadena area. So it was always warm. So and that was the biggest adjustment. That and not having In-N-Out Burger, which is a famous burger chain in Los Angeles in the California area, but Culver's really fills the bill. So I'm not that sad about that. But the weather, that's a whole other topic.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you notice a culture change?
Yes, I do.
In what ways?
I think that people are much nicer here.
Oh, really?
One, yeah, people are much nicer, much more friendlier, helpful.
Does it seem more laid back?
It does. It does. Sometimes a little too laid back.
Okay.
A little too laid back. But it's a great experience to have. It's nice after being in the hustle and bustle of a metropolitan city like Los Angeles all your life. Coming out here, it's relaxing.
Different change of pace.
Different change of pace, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Running a historic movie theater, that's not an easy thing. What's been the biggest challenge so far?
Well, there's many challenges in this job, and running this business. Probably the biggest challenge would be the building itself. You have a historic building which is 90 years old, so you're going to have things that go wrong daily, from plumbing issues to electricity to leaky roofs to anything. So that to me is the biggest challenge that I've seen in the last year here. But there's other challenges of running a business that we didn't expect. That pop up, and they're really all tied back to the business, or tied back to the building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you've been into this for a year, a little bit more than a year. Yeah. Since you've opened the doors, has there been a moment where you have thought, you and Jenna, like, yes, this is why we came here?
Well, there's many of those.
Okay. Is there a story you can tell?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think for us in general, it's the kids that come to their first movie. That's really special, because I remember the first theater I went to see a movie at, and I remember what I saw, and it's something really magical because that to us is very special. It's handing off the magic of movies to these young kids who have never been there. And afterwards, we always like to ask them, what do you think of the experience? And all of them say it's great because you're sitting in a dark theater with 40 feet and eating probably popcorn and candy, but they're enjoying the experience and they love that. They love that. And that to us is really the first time that happened, which was a couple weeks in, was really kind of like aha moment for us. And that's really the special moment.
That's wonderful. Looking ahead, where do you see the State Theater going in 1, 3, 5 years? What's the ultimate vision when you can say, hey, we made it? What does it look like?
Well, I think that's a wonderful question, and as I alluded to earlier, that we're the stewards of this property. We're State 3.0. State 1.0 was the original construction to the closing in 2000. The reconstruction is 2.0 under Red and Linda, and we're 3.0. So 4.0 is something that we're looking at right now. As I said, we're the stewards of this property, and where do we take it? And where do we want to hand it off to the next proprietor of this building? And I think that's something that we have to look at realistically, the exit plan of doing right by the community. So that is the number one goal that's out there. How do we achieve that? So looking at a short-term plan, we are continuing to run films, the Hollywood blockbusters and classics and independence and family and all the things that we do. But we're also looking at how do we incorporate more performances, stage performances here. We're doing some of those. How to best represent some of our open spaces and how do we bring that back to the community. With the Jorgensen Hotel project opening in a few years, that is going to be a big boom for downtown Hutchinson, and I think that's going to change plans and change direction. And we're looking at that and how do we help and support that and the growth of downtown. So all of that is being in consideration right now. But really, the ultimate goal is at a certain point, we have to have a business, and I feel very strongly about this, we have to have a place in the business that we can hand off to someone and they can run it and take it to the next level. And that's very important for the community. And that's really kind of a key goal for us right now. And that's
just preserve a legacy.
Preserve a legacy. And that's, looking at my background in film preservation and restoration, it's something that we are very passionate about. So the state will survive after we leave, and that's kind of the goal there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So just thinking about this year, 2026, what can we look forward to at the State Theater?
We have a lot of, Hollywood is releasing a lot of great blockbusters this year. We have the Minions, and we have a new Spielberg film. We have, toward the end of the year, we have another Avengers film. A lot of great big films. But we're also looking at some special programming. We're going to have more film festivals as we've done before, or special films like we had a Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. We have something cooking for Labor Day weekend. We have a few events that we're planning with the Hutchinson Center of the Arts as a fundraiser. Those are going to be kind of really great events, but also some updates here in the theater. We're looking at starting some updates in theaters 2 and 3. We debate every week which one we're going to start. So it changes every week. We're going to start here, and then it's like, oh wait, maybe we'll do it here, and then oh maybe we'll do it here. So we have to make that decision here real quick on updating what we're planning on doing. But we're also going to be offering more concession items and just continue to bring that great family vibe and that retro vibe that people are discovering. And also getting out there in the community, working with the community. We really want to be partners with the entire downtown community and partner with all the different restaurants and shops and businesses to help promote downtown. And so you're going to see more of that coming from us in 26.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Now, I understand you got some physical improvements that you're going to be making to the building with the facade and all that. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yes, we are. We're right now restoring all of the original neon that's out in front of the building, going through that, and we're going to be redoing the sign now. We're going to keep it all analog. As you know, I'm very passionate about making sure that it's historically accurate as close as possible. So we're doing the sign. We're going to put new letters in and just really kind of improve that. And we're putting new light bulbs underneath the marquee. The front of the building, we're looking at the idea of putting a box office in the front. We have a couple of ideas of what we could do. We could put it toward the storefront. We could put it out a ways into the sidewalk area. We're looking at all those options, and of course we have to go through the planning stages and everything that goes along with that. But those are some of the concepts that we're looking at from the facade. But also some of our storefronts, the idea is to start looking at how do we refurbish those and bring more businesses here in downtown. So those are things that we're very excited about. And then on the back of the building, we've talked about putting a mural. We have that huge wall. So when you come down, when you turn off 7 and come down Main Street here, you can see the back of the theater. And so we are looking at creating what I like to say, a new ghost mural, something that you would see on the back of a theater in the 1950s. We have some ideas and some designs that we're looking at. So those are things we would like to do in 26, but definitely in 27. It just really kind of depends on where it fits in our planning. But the outside is going to look very beautiful because we feel that you want to keep the neon. We're not changing it out to LED or any of the modern. We're keeping the old-fashioned way because it looks better and it's historically correct for the building. So
it looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I can drive down. I'll drive down Main, coming from Culver's, and I'll leave the lights on by accident, and it's pretty impressive seeing it through the trees. Yeah. So it's sometimes I have to stop and think, gosh, I own this building. It's kind of I feel very lucky and I know it's such a community asset, and that's why we want to continue to preserve the beauty of it.
Okay, well, I want to thank you for taking the time to visit with us. It's been a pleasure.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, Miles.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Hutchinson Economic Developments. We'll see you again next time.